The screen is black. Then, gunshots, screams, glass shattering. Smoke poured from the windows. Flames clawed at the roof. And inside the burning church, terrified worshippers huddled under pews as gunfire ripped through the sanctuary. It was Sunday morning, September 28, 2025. A day that should have been filled with prayer and hymns in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Instead, it became a scene of unimaginable horror. The attacker had rammed his car into the doors of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, then stormed inside with a gun and gasoline. Within minutes, 4 people were dead, 8 more lay bleeding, and the church itself was an inferno. This is the story of the Michigan Church Massacre, how a Sunday service turned into a nightmare, and how one man's rampage left an entire community in ruins. Just hours earlier, nothing seemed unusual. Families dressed in their Sunday best. Children tugged impatiently at their parents' hands. Elderly couples walked slowly into the sanctuary, exchanging warm greetings. For the people of Grand Blanc, faith was a routine of comfort and stability. No one could have predicted that this familiar ritual was about to be ripped apart. At 10:47 a.m., a car sped off the road and slammed into the church doors. The congregation froze in shock. Behind the wheel was Thomas Jacob Sanford, a 40-year-old Iraq War veteran from Burton, Michigan. He wasn't there to worship. Sanford stepped out with a gun in one hand, gasoline in the other. The first shot rang out, shattering the silence. Worshippers dropped to the floor. Parents clutched their children. Some screamed. Others couldn't move at all. One survivor later said, "He looked like a man possessed. He wasn't there to scare us. He wanted destruction." As bullets tore through the sanctuary, Sanford splashed gasoline across the pews and lit the flames. The sanctuary that once echoed with hymns now filled with smoke, screams, and fire. The blaze spread faster than anyone could imagine. Carpets ignited. Hymnals turned to ash. Smoke choked the air until even breathing became a struggle. People pushed toward exits, trampling pews, smashing windows to escape. Outside, neighbors and passers-by could only watch in horror as the church they had known for years became an inferno. By the time first responders arrived, 4 were already dead and 8 more wounded. Inside, some were still trapped. With the church engulfed, police charged into the smoke-filled sanctuary. Through the haze, they confronted Sanford. A brief but deadly shootout followed. When it ended, the gunman was down. The rampage was over. But the church was collapsing around them, consumed by fire. Firefighters worked furiously, but when the flames were finally beaten back, the church was nothing but rubble. Amid the ruins, investigators made a grim discovery. 2 more bodies burned beyond recognition. Victims who had never made it out. The final toll. At least 6 dead. 8 wounded, 1 critically. A community scarred forever. Who was Thomas Jacob Sanford? On the surface, a decorated veteran. But in recent years, neighbors noticed troubling changes. Erratic behavior, isolation, a man slipping further from reality. Authorities confirm he had no ties to the church. No manifesto. No clear motive. The haunting question remains, why here? Why them? In the aftermath, families waited outside hospitals, clinging to hope. Survivors described scenes of chaos they'll never forget, the smell of smoke, the sound of gunfire, the heat of the flames. By nightfall, the people of Grand Blanc gathered at candlelight vigils. Some prayed. Others wept. Many simply stood in silence, staring at the flickering candles, asking questions that will never be answered. As investigators dig into Sanford's past, theories emerge: untreated trauma from war, possible mental health struggles, or something darker. But no theory can explain the horror survivors lived through. For them, safety was shattered in the very place they felt most secure. Across Michigan and across the country, the tragedy left people asking, if even a house of worship isn't safe, where is? The church is gone, reduced to ash and rubble. But already, members of the congregation are vowing to rebuild, not just a building, but their faith and community spirit. For those who lost loved ones, however, life will never return to normal. Sundays will forever carry the weight of fire, fear, and grief. What remains is a story etched in tragedy, of faith tested by violence, of a community scarred but not broken, and of the haunting morning when silence gave way to screams. This was the Michigan Church Massacre. A story of fire and faith, of unanswered questions, and of a community forced to face the unthinkable. And as investigators search for a motive, the people of Grand Blanc are left to rebuild, to mourn, and to remember.